universe was not.
What's going on, Boy Time universe? You guys ever get scared of the dark? Every day I do.
How you doing, man? Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in today. We're having a nice time here on Boy Time. We're having a little Boy Time experience. The true and one true Boy Time experience is an experience shared among friends, and I think that's the most important thing.
Even girls can share in the boy time experience.
Girls are allowed to, but there has to be a guy in the room with you.
Yes.
If you want to have a Boy Time experience, you have to be near a man.
And he has to sign off on it.
Yeah. There's a contract. It's on the website. Everyone knows about the links.
You just fill it out.
Go to the link. All right. So I was thinking of a good bit today. Something we could do is like going through all the jobs we've held and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. I think that could be good.
Let's do it.
You know, like.
I wish I could remember the jobs I've had.
Really? You have a little bit of a hard time remembering jobs?
No, I've only had like 3.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. You've had a lot of jobs. Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought it would be
I'll
funny.
make up a couple.
Don't say that. Let them know that. Let them experience it.
It's not live.
It is live. That's the whole thing is that we're here and here and here. All right, my first job was Publix as a cashier and a bagger. What was your first job?
Chick-fil-A.
Your first job was Chick-fil-A. That's what I mean. I met you because you worked with our friends at Chick-fil-A.
That's true. That's how we met.
And I was working at Publix at the time.
Yeah, and right with one of the first times we met, we're like, let's start Boy Time.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Oh. No, that's really good.
This took years in the making.
Because I worked at Publix from 2012 to 2016. So I worked there.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, from when I was 15 till when I went off to college. My freshman year of college, I would come home every month because you had to work every 30 days to remain in the schedule system.
Right.
So, and I was like a scared little freshman in college, like, oh, I don't want to leave my friends behind. So I'd come home every 30 days on a bus, a Greyhound bus.
Wait, really?
I would take the city bus to get to the Greyhound station downtown in Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not known for great public transportation because the bus just doesn't work.
Whoa.
So I would take me 2 hours, 3 hours to get to the bus. And then I would take a Greyhound down to work one shift at a Publix. And, like, see my friends and family and then go back up to college, like, at the end of the weekend.
Okay. I'm just being completely honest. My mind is completely blown.
Really?
That's crazy.
I don't know why I did that. Looking back, I could have just transferred to a Publix up
an
there.
hour's trip, like hours of travel just to work one shift to, like, keep your 30-day.
Yes, because I wanted to have a job when I came back over the summer. And I was worried I couldn't transfer to a Publix up there and then transfer back for the summer. And that was like something that they told me I couldn't do. So I was like, well, let me keep this job because college summer is like 4 months. It's not just like, it's like a quarter of the year. So I would come home, I would be able to work that whole next summer at Publix.
Wow.
But then after that final summer, I like put my 2 weeks in and never went back.
And they just let you do that? They were like, yeah, you can work one day a month.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
because
so interesting.
Because summer, it's like a busy season for every business in Florida, kind of.
Would you work the shift and then, like, go to your mom's and then go back the next day? Or like?
Yeah, dude. It was like a 3 to 6 hour bus ride. It was miserable, dude.
You've never told me that.
I don't know why
That's
I
crazy.
did that. Like, I look back, it's like, that's just like stupid young person shit where you like don't really think things through and like you just do something.
You could probably really easily get another job.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
The school I was on campus. I could have worked on campus and made the same money. Why did I do that?
That's so funny. I think that does show just how, like, determined you are, though. You're like, I'm going to just do this. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it. Like, I think about that sometimes for you, where like, you're a go-getter.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even if it's a shitty thing to go get?
Well, yeah, kind of.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, so what was your experience with Chick-fil-A? Was it a good time? Was it a bad time?
How
long did you work there?
Oh, man, I worked at Chick-fil-A for probably 4 years, like the same as you. Like, it was my high school job.
So you worked there before our friends worked there. You were there first? Because they didn't work there until after we graduated, so.
No, they worked there in high school.
No, I don't think so.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah, because what's his name? Yeah. We were like
The
juniors
Kraken
and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a senior thing. Like, I thought they got the job in senior year. Well, it's 2 friends. That's the thing, too. It's like 2 of my friends got a job.
Maybe it was senior year. So maybe I did have the job first.
I think you had the job first. That's the only reason I bring that up is because I think you maybe.
I must have been lonely because I didn't have friends before them.
Really?
They were like my real like first friends. I like hang out like outside of like school or work or anything.
Would they let you wear the hat at Chick-fil-A?
Like the Chick-fil-A hat?
No. Your little special hat.
No. No, they wouldn't. Flash it on screen. I wore that hat for
Trauma
so long.
alert. You You have to wear a cow pattern one. It's like, eat more chicken. I'm Caleb. I work at Chick-fil-A.
I can't take this hat off.
So I would say Publix had zero perks. I mean, you got a turkey every year at Christmas time. It paid a little bit more than a standard minimum wage job. It was pretty easy. I mean, I always opted in every night to do the cleaning. So I would like do a little bit of bagging for like 2 hours and then spend 5 hours just taking the trash out around the store. Cleaning.
Why did you opt? That sounds like a shitty job.
No, because it really took an hour, and I just made it take 5. But once you do something, I was like kind of a little bit like, oh, if you do a bad job the first time, they just think that that's how long it takes.
Yep.
What do you?
I would
this
do
is
that
like
with
first
dishes.
job.
I had to do dishes at Chick-fil-A because for about 2 years I was the opening shift, so we had to get there at 5:15. I actually really liked that shift. Like it gets you up, whatever. And I would make the biscuits, and I would take my sweet time. Yeah, I'd make them. Ew, gross.
Oh yeah, making a biscuit.
And then I would have to wash all the dishes that I like made with that whole process, and I would take my sweet time. My manager would be like, "Why is this taking so long?" I'm like, "I'm really cleaning them." She'd be like, "Okay." She's like, "Believe me." She was a really cool manager.
Yeah.
My overall, I think it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met cool people.
Yeah, I
It
met
was
cool
fun.
people too. They were fine. No one that lasted forever. I worked with Kendra's sister there.
Older or younger?
She's the oldest, so
Okay.
the not one
The
that was
not
a child at the time.
Well, right.
She's
that's
only a
true.
teenager now, so 10, 12 years
I
ago.
did not think that
she
through.
would be 5. Yeah, I worked with her at Baby. I worked at Baby. It was pretty cool. Great coworkers. And she take the baby out.
She only gets the baby cards. Like, there's no baby cards. Like the little ones.
Well, there's one just for her. No, I worked with Kendra's sister, and I mean, it was fun. It was like a early shitty job, and like I met weirdos. There's a guy that always comments on all my reels. If I post this as a reel, he'll probably comment. His name's like Florida Guy on Instagram, and
Right.
he was great. He would just tell me like crazy things. Like,
Sure.
He'd be like, "Did you know Abe Lincoln like escaped from the?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He would just tell me like crazy conspiracy theories.
That's funny.
And he'd be like, "You got to get out of here, man." I'm like, "You're a year older than me. Like, you haven't been working."
No, I'm 45. It's like, you look really
You
good
look,
for 40.
you look hot. All right, so my
That's
second
funny.
job was after I did the Publix thing, I started working at the college. I worked at Spinnaker, which was our college media company. So there was a newspaper website, there was a TV station, and there was a radio station. So I had
remember
3
old
jobs
Spinnaker.
there. Yeah, you came when you went
Yeah,
on
that
air.
was fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was
Yeah.
fun. It was a great office. It was a cool job. I started out as an assistant in the radio station. Then I was in charge of all the entertainment video over at the TV station, which is where I met my buddy John, who I'm still good friends with. I met all of my college friends I met through Spinnaker. All my best friends that I've had for years
Interesting.
since college, we all met through there. And then I ended it up on my junior year of college. I was the radio station manager. And I would say
awesome.
that was a great job. I mean, it was weird and it wasn't great, but I got paid to just fuck around. Like,
Right.
It was a great
And
job.
it's like something on the resume to be like, yeah, I've done like radio stuff.
Yeah, and I
which
got
is,
to
like,
do a
what
lot of
you do
stuff,
now.
and like I like interviewed like the I had like a morning show, like on the radio, and I like interviewed the people running for class president or school president for the government there, and like I interviewed like
cool.
local people, and it was cool. Like when little things were happening, I felt like I was like the talk show host of campus.
That's cool.
People would
Did you
send
ever
me-
like,
yeah.
ruffle some feathers? Did you ever do a whoopsie or a naughty thing?
No, but there was a big controversy with that presidential thing because I had questions written for each of the candidates, and one of the girls that worked for me at the radio station leaked the questions to her friend who I was interviewing, and we had to do like an article about it, and I had to be like quoted in the paper being like, I disavow. Like, why would you do that? It was like an
Whoa.
interview. Like, don't
Why
give it
would
to
you
your
leak the
friend.
questions?
Yeah.
It's not like
weird.
a actual presidential like debate.
Yeah, and like, yeah, it's stupid. And like, I think the guy that was running for president was a little self-important. I think he thought like, oh, we're gonna get the questions and we're gonna look good. Like nobody listens to the fucking college radio station, you idiot. Like,
The people are really tuning in. Like, this is gonna swing my vote. Yeah.
I didn't even vote. Like,
Don't give a shit.
nobody votes. What was your second job?
My second job was, well, technically it was Cutco. I sold Cutco knives.
Really?
Yes.
When you left Chick-fil-A, you sold Cutco knives.
Yep, for like a summer.
You like went to door to door and tried to sell knives, or was
It wasn't door to door, so it was. Dude, this is weird. I went in this little office in Clearwater, and there's like one guy, and then there's 40 teenagers, and he's like, "This is how you sell Cutco." And I remember like he always wore super baggy pants, and he would like keep adjusting himself. And it's like we all see you doing that. That will forever be in my mind. He would always like adjust himself like while like talking to us.
Damn,
and
that's really weird.
He's like I've been in Coco, blah blah blah. It was just very like
it's a pyramid scheme.
It's a pyramid scheme.
You had to buy the knives to sell them, right?
No, they give you a starter pack and you can keep those knives. They're just yours. And
Nice.
I still have those. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm still a Cutco salesman deep in my heart.
My soul was forged in the Cutco knife factory.
No, because they really are actually like super good knives.
How did you do it?
So one of my friends was like, oh, I've been like doing this summer. Like you should like join. Like, okay. I just went to the meeting. You literally just like sign up. They give you a starter pack, and then you have to go to weekly meetings. And then you have like a coach that you would have to call like every few days. Like, oh, have you been making appointments and blah blah blah?
Give me 40 push-ups, knife boy.
Like, what? No, please. No. It's making me strong, but I'm confused. My coach was like, she was like a 7-year-old woman. I don't know why that took me a while to say woman.
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out if she's a man or woman this whole time. Like I couldn't distinguish it.
She's like, I used to be a man, but Cutco accident.
Cutco accident.
Cutco my penis off. And,
No, but
and Cutco with Dodie on the road. You don't gotta say Cutco, bro.
Every single time. They say Cutco before every single sentence, actually.
It's like in the SpongeBob when they go to the bad part of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't understand you unless you do that.
Yeah. Come on. You could get it. You know what he's saying.
No, but that was a really interesting experience because it was good because it taught me like independence because you were like your own salesman. Like,
Right.
No one was like, you have to go door to door, hit this neighborhood. You started with friends and family, and you would check in with your coach like every week. And yeah, like we got really good commission. I made like $2,000 that summer, just
nice.
like by like, I think I did like 15 presentations. Like I would call my dad. I'd be like, oh, like who do you
just
think
cut
would?
your finger off. It's so fucking
No,
smart.
one
What?
thing with the demonstration is that they have Cutco scissors, and you could cut a penny in half. Like you can actually with the scissors like whoosh, cut through a penny. And so they do this in your demonstration. Like they would give you like a demonstration like flow out. You had a binder like
Damn.
it goes this and
That's
this
cool
and this.
though.
Yeah,
It's like independence, like entrepreneurial.
yeah. It definitely taught me to like be on the phone. Like just like cold calling, not cold calling because it was like friends and family, but it still was people that like I've never been to their house. I'm a teenage kid. I'm like, oh, can I come do a demonstration for you?
Yeah.
Like, as long as you have
Nice.
pants on, we know you sometimes don't have pants on.
You have to wear the baggy pants. He's like, this is what we do. And you're just picking your crotch while you're cutting pennies in half. You're like, oh, my dick hurts so bad. Dude.
Does anybody have any pennies?
I
I cut 4. We get it. We get that you can cut pennies.
Give me a bigger coin. I want to do it.
They're like, no.
Chat, let us know what your first job was. That's a good chat question. Nobody's watching. My next job, I worked at the college again, but I was an RA for
That sounds interesting.
a year and a half while I worked at the radio station at the same time. I hated being an RA.
Why?
I was the worst RA.
Because you just didn't care if people had stuff.
I just you're put on call. The thing that sucked was you'd be on call. So every other week you'd have a day where you had to be up from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Not up, but if someone gets locked out of their dorm in a specific area, you have to let them in. If anything happens, they call you and you have to be you're literally the first responder to crazy shit.
Right.
I saw a kid in the mentally disabled dorms took 3 times the medication he was supposed to take because he forgot, and so he was just foaming at the mouth standing in his underwear. I'm like, why am I here? I'm not a paramedic.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know CPR even. Why am I the first responder?
What did you do?
I just called the police. You guys could have just called the cops first. Why did I have to do it? It's so stupid.
You go back, yeah, nothing to see here. You walk away.
Yeah, man, it was just stupid. Kids in freshman dorms bringing alcohol into their room, and we're just standing there and we're just watching them do it, and then you're paired, you get paired up with someone when you're on call, and you're just with some sort of goody two shoes rules. If I see kids bringing beer, I don't give a fuck.
That's
man.
what I was gonna ask. I
don't
What kind of
care.
RA
Yeah,
Because I couldn't see you being you can't have that beer.
No,
you're gonna be be safe.
Everything I had to do, I was forced to do. So I was with this girl who's we gotta go over there. I'm you're getting off on getting kids in trouble.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I would literally probably, if I was alone, I would go there and be hey guys, you gotta like hide it in a bag.
Right.
Like,
You can't just like be like belligerent about it.
Yeah, so it's just shit like that, man. And then they literally they fired me. Like that's how it ended.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they fired me going into my senior year of college, and I was, because you're an RA, part of your compensation is you get free housing. So they fired me like 2 months before the school semester started, and there was just no dorms left. So I went into my senior year homeless. So I lived in a closet. That's when I lived in the closet.
That was probably the best time of your life. I'll speak for you.
I had a lot of fun, but I was like, this is low. This is a low point. I'm sleeping in a closet on the floor.
Did you have a girlfriend?
Yeah. Long distance.
Did she know? Oh,
Long
okay.
distance.
So
Yeah,
the closet wasn't.
It
wasn't a hub.
She never came to the closet. She never visited
Right.
me in Jacksonville. She never came to visit the closet.
Did you ever come in the closet?
I came to the closet every day. Man.
Hey-o.
That's why I said, give me the closet.
You heard it here first.
I gotta jerk off in this closet.
I gotta get in that closet.
I'm jerking off in the closet. I have a lot more jobs than you. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna just give one more, and then I'll kick back to you.
Yeah.
So when I was living in the closet, I worked at a place called Freddy's. Freddy's Steak Burgers and Custard.
You made that up.
Have you ever been to a Freddy's Steak Burger and Custard?
No, because you made that up.
I didn't make it up, man. I got the scars to prove it. So I was like a fry cook, and I was I did the ice cream, and I did the drive-through. So I would like talk to people on the thing. I'd be making like little ice cream milkshakes and shit, and I'd be in the back like smashing burgers for like 6 hours.
I've never heard of this place actually.
Yeah, it's like a Midwestern chain. It's kind of like Culver's a little bit.
Okay.
It's like a simpler menu than Culver's, and it's like half ice cream, half burgers. So
Got
it's
it.
Like, they're very much about like that ice cream shit. Like, come here for ice cream, and it was fine. I just was like living in a closet, just like working a fast food job. Like, I was so miserable, man.
Poor James.
And I would literally like make a burger wrong and put it in a box and hide it, and then take it home and just eat 2 cheeseburgers in the closet and just balloon to 305 pounds. Like, what am I doing? Like, that's crazy. I'm not like in shape now. I was 50 pounds more than I weigh right now my senior year of college.
That's actually crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't remember you like being that big.
Yeah.
I can't like picture that.
Yeah, I was big. I was big.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I was big. What was
Headline. Breaking news.
Yeah,
Local boy was big.
That job stunk, though. I mean, if you work at Freddy's and you enjoy it, whatever. Have fun. You get free ice cream. It's a fucking easy-ass job. But, like, I mean, this is not a negative. I just worked with, like, it was me and then just 45 black teenagers who'd be like, oh, that white boy wearing church shoes to work.
Were you?
No, I just had, like, work shoes that looked a little shiny. I'm like, you're wearing Jordans, man. You're going to get an injury. Like,
wearing church shoes.
That we used to say every day. What's going on, church shoes? I'm not, okay, I look nice. You can't hurt my feelings. I make ice cream for a living. What do you want me to wear?
Well, the difference is that they were all prepared to dunk at any time, and you couldn't dunk. You were in those church shoes.
I wasn't ready to dunk. That was my bad. No, I'm not.
That's a dangerous game you're playing.
I'm gonna move it. But you know, it was a fun job. It was like whatever, and like a notable moment from that job is I was like miserable, just gaining weight, like smoking weed all the time.
Like you say, a notable moment.
Dude, I would like bring like liquor. And then I would get like a big styrofoam cup and fill it with soda, and then just put liquor in it.
Yeah,
like,
I had a Chick-fil-A manager that would do that.
Yeah,
like at every closing shift, she had like a little vodka, and then we're like 17 years old, and we're getting like lemonade. She's like, "Here you go, guys. Thanks,
lady."
Thanks. I don't know her name. Thanks, lady.
She scratched out her name tag. You can't tell the cops if you don't have my name.
And she had a crush on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all did, didn't they?
They all did.
They all did.
They couldn't get a piece of this.
Yeah, they wanted a piece. They could only have a slice. But no, I mean, but okay. So another moment from that is I was like fat, just like drinking on the job, like doing whatever, miserable, hate of my life, living in a closet, and like I won the school like short story contest. Which
was that cake?
No, that was a film. So this is a short story, like a written thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
I did win that, but that was before Freddy's. I still had hope and optimism in my life. I wasn't living in a closet working a drive-through shift. But they called me, and I get a call, and I'm like, I'm gonna go outside, take a call. They're like, hey, you just won. You get like $1,000. We're gonna like make a piece of art. You get to like do a couple readings, and we're gonna like tour you around. Like I'm not like zhuzhing it up or glazing myself a little bit. I'm just saying like if you win that, you become like you're like the preeminent writer on campus.
Sweet.
So it was like, oh shit, and I'm like in an apron covered in grease. Just
That's
like,
always how it goes, though.
it was cool. And like a guy was like, I'm gonna go. I gotta go get gas, and he came back with like beers. And like after the shift, he just got me beers and drank beers with me to celebrate with me.
Interesting.
A guy I didn't know that well, and I was like, this is weird. Like it was just a nice moment. Like a guy who didn't know me recognized that I had won something, and I just kind of tried to explain it to him, and he was just like, here's some beers.
He's like, I don't care about that. I want you to drink. Drink more. All right, yes, sir. Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
lady. I don't know his name.
It's the guy from Publix, so Abe Lincoln. And the North Pole, they're connected. Oh, so since you have so many jobs, I'll go back to the Chick-fil-A thing. So I kind of got fired. They stopped scheduling me.
You got
because,
fired?
Yeah, I did.
Why?
I just really stopped caring. My
I mean,
pay.
how can you care? It's chicken.
Right, and like my pay it was capped at like $8.90. So I'm making like $8.90.
Bro, they paid
like,
me
I don't give a shit
$12
about
at
this
Publix.
place. Really?
I got like $4 over minimum.
No, the
wage.
owner. So I'm getting to that. The owners sucked where I worked.
Damn, you were
because each one
at $8.90.
Dude, it was $8.90.
Oh my
and,
God.
And so I really just stopped giving a fuck. Like there was times I worked the breakfast shift for like a couple years, but then I worked the night shift like later on, and I just wouldn't wear shoes. I'd be walking around in my socks.
I'd fire you. What are you talking about?
I would be
fucking
like
crazy.
No, it's just I walk around in
I
my
know
socks.
white boy not wearing
like,
church shoes.
Mainly just for the bit to like make people laugh. I was like, I don't care. Like this is gonna be funny. And then I would like put like Kleenex boxes on my shoes. I'm like, these are my shoes for the shift. I wear them for like a couple hours. And then there was a couple times where like they had to see this on cameras. So the little milk things that comes with kids meals. It would be like kind of slow, and there'd be people like hanging around, like some of my coworkers, and I would unbutton my pants. I would get one of the milks, and I would just pour the milk down my pants.
That just hurts you. What are you doing?
I
Like
would
the
just-
owner sucked. I never wore shoes and I did milk dick every day. What's wrong with you? I've been bad at jobs. The RA job I was bad at, I never didn't wear shoes and poured milk in my dick. You're fucking crazy, man. What is that? Okay.
It was just to make me like, cause it's the shock value of like this kid's pouring milk down his pants.
What, 1%?
2.
You never getting that smell out. That's crazy, man.
Yeah,
So they
so
fired
they-
you because of that?
Yeah, I got my schedule one week and it was just empty. I was like, nah, yeah, that
happened to
makes
me.
sense.
That's
And then
happened to me.
I wrote in the group chat because we all had a big group chat. The owners were in it. And I was like, fuck this place. And anybody, like, you need to ask for a raise. Like, they don't treat people well here, blah, blah, blah. And then they kicked me from the group chat.
They just upload a video of you pouring milk in your pants. Need I say more?
Like, yeah, we're not going to pay him more. He pours milk down his pants.
We can't pay you more because we have to put all this money into milk. You keep putting milk in your pants, kid. You know milk's not cheap. We call it white gold.
White gold. Where we're from, the North Pole.
All right, you said you worked a morning shift, and I also enjoyed working a morning shift because my next job after working at Freddy's and graduating college, I moved back to Tampa from Jacksonville, and I worked at Starbucks.
I remember this era. I was involved in this era. I was heavily involved in
You
this
just
era.
came by a
I
lot.
got you the job at Starbucks.
I would I would work like 5 a.m. to noon. It was a great shift because I mean, I would come in late all the time. I would sleep to my alarm like twice a week. Like
Like how late? Like 15 minutes or like?
yeah, like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
it's
Well, like
whatever.
slept to my alarm 15, 20 minutes. So I end up 15, 20 minutes
Oh.
to work. Yeah.
Right.
So it would be late, but it was like really close and like it was fine. Like the people were whatever and didn't care. It was a lot of older people. Like I worked with like a retired teacher, a retired military guy, and like 2 people that like did this part time,
That's interesting because I feel like most Starbucks I go to, it's like younger employees.
and they're all gay.
That's true.
A
Well, that's a
lesbian.
requirement.
No one makes coffee like a lesbian. We went to get coffee this morning and we saw like we were in the drive-thru behind a car, and when the lady went to hand the guy his coffee, we saw she had armpit hair, and we knew
Right.
the coffee was going to be good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I believe that. I'm not.
No,
joking
yeah,
around.
I actually know what you
Nobody
mean.
makes a coffee like a chick with like a
With hair.
with hair on her armpit, with like a piercing in a place that nobody else has a piercing.
So you be the person. I'll be the person ordering Starbucks, and
Okay.
you be the lesbian with hair.
Okay.
I'm at the window.
Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
they're not nice.
Right. Can I get a frappuccino, extra mocha, venti, please?
Venti.
Oh, by the way, do you own shaving cream?
Yeah, I mean, like I have like a shower thing for like my legs sometimes if there's like a wedding coming up.
Oh, okay. Do you like wear deodorant and stuff?
No, I like to let it flow free. And
I'm coming to the window, baby.
I'm on my way.
oh, you know. You're at the window and you go, I'm coming to the window.
Well, no, I'm at the speaker.
Well, you said I'm at the window.
No, I'm saying I'm coming at the window, baby.
I'm coming for you. I want to braid your armpit hair with my teeth.
Because the coffee's so good.
They make the shit out of that.
Really?
You can have as many as you want. They all fall on the floor.
That's true, they did.
But Starbucks was great. Starbucks was fine. I learned how to be a barista, and I learned something at that job that I think changed my life a little bit. This woman Cheryl, she was married and had a kid, and she worked at Starbucks while her husband, like she had like a job while her kid was at work, or kids was at school,
Right.
and her husband was at work. And I would get like pissed off. I couldn't make any drinks, so I would just do the drive-through all the time, and like people would just bother me in little ways. Like I got little tips, but I never really like went off on people. I would like have little snarky remarks, but like these guys came through in a truck with a trailer, and we had these like plastic like I don't know, like road markers for the drive-through.
Right,
and
right.
they just mowed them all down. And I was like, I'm gonna say something to him about it. And she was like, no one cares. She was like, they don't care.
Wisdom.
She's like, I don't care. Do you really care? And she's like, it's going to cost you more energy and make you more upset if you make a deal about this rather than just not saying anything. And I was like,
Right.
oh, wow. It's going to take me 5 years to internalize this lesson. And I will relearn it at least 7 times before this really sticks. But I always remembered her, and Cheryl really taught me a lesson.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she was cool. She was a great chick.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always kind of been on that wavelength of like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
I still feel like I got a retribution and justice. Like, I still am on that a little bit sometimes, but I get over it.
I get that, though, because they're dicks. Like, why you going to run
I'm
them
already
over?
losing. I work at a Starbucks.
Right.
Don't make it worse
You've
for me.
lived in a closet. I mean,
with
come
a
on.
fish.
There's a fish in the closet?
I had a little pet fish that I put on the top rack of the closet.
That's adorable. Was it a beta?
Yeah.
Nice.
2
What
betas
color?
in that closet. Dangerous. You can't put 2 betas in the
Sigma
same
beta
tank.
skibbity. Oh, no.
Oh, the kid Gen Z just ding, 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 ding. They're just blowing into the chat.
Alpha is just flooding in.
But yeah, we're at Starbucks. Okay. So you did knives and
Knives. And then I got a job at a little company called Ferguson. Yeah.
I was there
in
for
school.
this. I was really involved in this time.
You got me the job at Ferguson. Just like I got the job at Starbucks. So I was in school.
I call that
and
tit for tat.
That's true. And okay, looking back, this is so stupid, but I was in school and I like got into
You were in college?
music. Yes, I was in college.
What were you going to school for? Did you have any idea what you were going to major in?
Yeah, I was majoring in human services.
Okay. What
So
would that be?
it's kind of an umbrella. Usually, if you get like a bachelor's in human services or like an AA, you would go into like more of a direct field. But that kind of encompasses like human resources, social work, therapy.
Hospitality?
No, like more like mental health stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, because I'm just like I have a very strong interest or did or still do in that kind of stuff. So I was like, oh, it might be like a therapist eventually or like a social worker or something. And then I learned that they don't make shit. So I'm in school and I got super into music. I was like, well, I need to like buy equipment. Like I had like a bug. I was like, I want to like buy a synthesizer and blah 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 laptop. I was like, I need a better job than selling knives. So my dad worked at Ferguson. My brother worked at Ferguson, and I applied and got the old job. Warehouse. It's a plumbing supply house for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, it was terrible. It was so bad. It was fun. It was fun, like learning machines, like being on like machines all day. Like that's like a pretty fun thing. But it's just terrible. They overwork you. There was mandatory overtime all the time. You had to work like 50, 55 hours a week. it's so corporate that you're just such a small thing. Like I remember there'd be guys like throwing up in like the trash cans because like the heat was so bad, and they wouldn't let them go home.
Oh my god!
And like, no, if you can finish out the shift, like that'll be like appreciated. And these people are just like throwing up.
Yeah, they have like heat exhaustion.
Yeah, it's like oh, it was terrible. I eventually got promoted, but then COVID actually happened, and then I got in big trouble because I had the.
So you refused to get vaccinated.
No, the direct opposite. I took a very leftist approach, and I almost had the whole warehouse walking out. And one of the big corporate guys. He's like,
wait, what happened? Why'd you get?
So, it was like in the beginning of COVID when nobody knew anything. It was like there's this disease going around that's like killing people. So the corporate of like Ferguson, they like sent an email, and there was like, we're gonna have a strict policy that if anyone tests positive, we're shutting down the whole branch for 2 weeks. Like, looking back, it's like, that might be, like, a little crazy. But, like, we didn't know. One of the guys in the office got COVID, and they tried to, like, keep it under wraps. I heard a whisper of it, so I got really mad. I was like, you're keeping this, like, really small. We're really slow right now because, like, job sites are, like, really slow, like, right. And you're going to, like, kill us all. Like, that was the mentality I had. So I went and told the whole warehouse, and this is, like, a big branch. So the warehouse, like, 30 guys, and then I worked at the counter with 5 other guys, and the whole warehouse was about to walk out, and one of the higher ups at that branch, he like took me aside. He's like, Caleb, what have you done? I was like, what do you mean? I just pretended I didn't know, because I printed out that like email and I circled them. I was like, Ferguson doesn't care about you, and I put them like all over the warehouse.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
I was, and then
that's blowing my mind. That's crazy that you did that.
We had a whiteboard at the counter, and I like drew a little coronavirus like bacteria, whatever, and I was like, if this gets in you, they don't care about you, like stuff like that. I was on some activist shit. And then, and so he, like, took me aside. He's like, the whole warehouse is about to walk out because of you. He's like, you stay. He took me in the conference room. He's like, you stay right here and don't move. And then, like, he left the room, and I just left. Like, I'm not in kindergarten. Right. You can't tell me to, like, stay.
Yeah, you can't.
Like,
am I being detained?
Right. Like, this is a job. I'm like, what the fuck you, dude? He's a piece of shit. And my brother still works there, and that guy has gotten demoted, by the way. So, yeah. Fuck you, dude.
Take that, dude.
So I went to my brother who was working there at the time. I was like, yeah, so this is happening. And then he stuck up for me. And it was this whole big thing. There was a branch meeting, and they're like, yes, someone got COVID, but like, we need to wear masks. Like, well, I'm sorry, but we're not going to shut down, blah, blah, blah. It was a whole like big thing.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, I was like, fuck this place.
Yeah.
Like, I found out some warehouse people were making more than me. And I was like a salesman.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out.
Fuck it, man.
Yeah.
They're always going to do shit like that. And you got to talk to people about what you're making. You got to talk to people about how you're being treated. You got to communicate if you hear stuff. And it just makes everything better. Trying to keep shit under wraps always just doesn't fucking work. It just doesn't fucking work.
Yeah. I mean, they try to individualize you. And that's like, I mean, it makes sense because that's how stuff doesn't get done. Like once people organize, like that's how actual like movement happens.
Yeah. For real.
This might be boring, but
no, it's interesting. I mean, that's crazy. I worked at Starbucks, and then while I was working at Starbucks, I got a job working for a group of radio stations down here in St. Pete. So I worked for a classic rock station. I worked for a smooth, easy listening station, like adult contemporary is what they call it.
I don't remember this.
And then I worked for like a pop station, like a pop of the early 2000s station, and I did promotions, so I did events. So I would like go to a T-Mobile, and I would set up a fucking keychain on a table, and you just come and you play music.
Keychain.
Yeah. Take it if you can get it from me. You can race me for
You're
it.
running around. James, we need you back at the table.
They want the keychain.
They're allowed to have it.
I want it. You have more. Why are you only putting one at a time? So I did that for like 8 months, months, maybe 9 months, and that was cool. I mean, I eventually worked my way up, and I was a morning show producer, so I was able to like help out on an actual show and do like radio shit and like really get involved, and like it was really cool. It was like a nice.
Were you on air at all, or?
Was not on air at all. Okay. I was never on air, but I did social media stuff, so I was all over all the social stuff. I would always make like stupid little videos on like the story and post with me in it. Like I always tried to like put myself out there and stuff.
Right.
But I mean, it just wasn't really going anywhere. It was like I could stay here for another year and hopefully get to a position where I can do other stuff, but it's not the same thing as like what you're saying with the warehouse stuff, but like corporate stuff, they're like we're going to measure your success based on like we're going to like keep you down and we're going to like let you go up a little bit at a time. So because if you're too good at a job that's lower, they just want you to keep doing that job well.
Yep.
As opposed to, it's like, well, I don't want to be the most reliable guy to do a fucking event at a PDQ. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I went to school for journalism. Like, I can write. I can do this other stuff. Like, I wanted to do it. And, like, it's just there's no jobs. And there still isn't that many jobs in radio. I mean, I work on a radio station now, and it's like there's just not a lot of upward mobility. The people that are in. And that's kind of the rest of radio until those guys die.
Not until I come around. I got James the job at Starbucks.
But I really like that job. And then... So you have one more job after Ferguson, right?
At my current job.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna go through this. Go through your final job, and then I have a legendary run of horrible jobs. That
dude, that's a lot more.
It's like
like halfway through the list.
8 horrible of the worst jobs of all time, leading up to my current job that I like.
This is the hell yeah.
I've only had good jobs. The last time I had a good job was 2020, and now it's 2024, and I had 2 good jobs this year.
Wow.
When I lived in New York, and then when I moved here, now I have a pretty good job that I like.
Nice.
But I want to go through my legendary run of the worst jobs of all time. But I want
all pooper scoopers for different companies. Yeah. So my current job, I quit Ferguson.
You don't have to say the name if you don't want to. I don't care.
I don't care. They know I do this podcast, and they know I talk shit about the company. No, it's not true. Yeah, so I quit Ferguson, and then I was hitting music really hard. That's how not how, but that's when I wrote Projection. There was like a 4-month period that I just had no plan. I was like, I'm just going to work on music. I live in my parents' house, like whatever. Looking back, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that's so weird that I like.
You took 4 months off of work?
Yeah.
Just to do music?
I had literally no plan for my future, which is like, I don't know, looking back, that's interesting.
No. I mean, that's crazy, but it's no better time to do it. I mean, you got a lot better. You got a lot better because...
Oh, absolutely.
You were bad.
I was so bad. Dude, I showed my girlfriend a song from Suburban Myth, and she's like, it's not going to be that bad. It's not going to be that bad. And, like, we're playing chess the other night and, like, put it on the speaker, and she just goes... It's like trying not to laugh, and she's like, yeah, this is bad. I'm like, no, I know it's terrible.
No.
But yeah, so I took that time just to do music, and
you made us all do a listening party for that first album. You made us all go over and you turned the lights down and you played the whole album and made us all sit there. And I didn't think it was bad at the time, by the way. I was like, oh, that's crazy that he did this. Like, you really sat down and made I was more impressed by the act that you actually sat down and did it.
Right.
Because, like...
You put in effort to make, like, a 10-song album.
Dude, like, I don't know. Like, I'm, again, not glazing myself, but, like, I finish stuff. I, like, go and, like, I make, like, a short film, and then I, like, just go to the next one and do the next thing. So I was like, oh, cool, another guy that can finish something. Like, this is so rare. Like, so I'm not saying that it's, like, a negative thing. I was genuinely like, that's sick that you actually fucking did it. And it was cool because we literally started, like, jokingly freestyling at our friend's house to, like, YouTube free beats. And then at, like, 2 years later, you have an album. Like, it's cool.
That's true. Yeah, for sure. And you were the one that influenced me. Well, like, kind of gave me the courage to make all my own beats and instrumentals. Because I remember there was one time, I think I would, like, send you stuff every once in a while. I'm like, like, I made this. And they were all, like, YouTube beats that I would just, like, download the MP3, put it in, you know, Logic Pro or whatever. And you, like, just text me one day. You're like, you need to make your own beats. And I was like... And you're like, that's what makes Tyler interesting. That's like, it will give you like more credibility of like, oh, like I'm not just doing like vocals, like I like made this thing. And I was like, oh yeah, he's like 100% right. And I had the capabilities to do it. Like I had piano lessons. I know music theory like a little bit. So yeah, and then I like started making my own beats. So then Suburban Myth was all, it was all my own production.
That's sick, dude. Yeah, I mean that's what sets you apart.
Yeah,
you specifically. It's like there's plenty of guys that like, I mean. Okay. James says something dumb. Let's just get that out there. Like, if you were just like a black guy from Atlanta, you could download any beat and just your first track would probably be incredible. Like, it's just some guys just can do that. But it's like the act of being able to make your own thing, and you have complete creative control over every element of it, as opposed to being like, it's like being a screenwriter. It's like, well, these guys that really make incredible movies, I mean, guys have been directors and make incredible movies, but it's like being a writer director, you have full control over the whole project. Like, it's like you're essentially that when you're producing and rapping over your own beats. I mean, Kanye's able to do like, I mean, Kendrick is, I'm sure, is very involved in his music production, but it's like,
but still, he's not playing the chords.
He's like, make it go beedly-doo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like that's fine, but it's like being able to implement, like, if you want to do a concept album or you want to have like a through line theme, knowing how to implement that into the production as well as the vocals, and you just have control over the whole thing, as opposed to being like, I need a beat with flute in it. Like,
I know. Oh, exactly.
Yeah, and I think it just it makes a difference, man.
And it gives you more tools in your toolbox. Yeah. Because like, well, let's say, okay, music like doesn't really, like, Prince Joseph never catches on, but like I've learned music production now to where like I could probably get a lower job at like a studio. Yeah. Of like being like like tracking people and setting up their mics and stuff. Like, I've learned to do all of that now. Yeah. To where like I can, like, one of my friends, Tyler, shout out to Tyler. He with projection, he was like, this sounds professional. He's like, this is like legit. He's like, and he's like really a big critique of like music production and mixing and mastering. He like he's a nerd about that shit. And so like that was a huge compliment. He's like, this, like, you have like legit status now. Like, this sounds like real. Yeah. I was like, oh sweet, that's like sick. Really cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's like you just work at your craft, and like, yeah, I don't know, it's great. It's a good feeling.
There's a comedy comparison where it's like people who don't produce their own shows. There's like comics who sit around and they wait and they just do open mics, what they pay to do, and then you wait for people to book you on shows if you're good enough. But like me and Aditya were like, we're just gonna, I mean, this isn't new, but we're like, we have to just make our own opportunities. Yeah. It's like, like you said, it's like, okay, well, now I know how to run an event, do ticketing, market an event, like do the tech, like run a board, set up a microphone. I know what a good show feels like, playing music in between stuff. And then like that kind of technical capability set me up to be able to do the late night talk show that I'm trying to redo now, but I did for a year when I was living in New York, because I was able to control everything. I was able to do a PowerPoint and have a band and have full technical control over the whole experience.
Which those shows were great. Yeah, you got really good bands, bands that I still listen to that have so like good, music out. Yeah.
Some of those guys are great.
All Right Good. So good.
Who's All Right Good? That's the guy from the Meeks.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
He like played with them, but now he does his own thing.
Yeah. But I still follow him. I'm like, damn, his music's like really good. Yeah.
There's so many good musicians up in New York, dude. All right, let me tell you. Well, so you did music for 4 months.
Yes, and then this was like late COVID, and then the whole warehouse at my current job was out with COVID, which it was only like 3 or 4 guys. And then my dad called me, and he's like, "Yeah, there's no one in the warehouse." Oh, by the way, my parents like fully supported me in this endeavor. They're like, "Yeah, don't have a job, like." That's fine. Like, really? Yeah, they were really supportive. My dad has always said, the only thing worse than your dream not coming true is giving up on it. So I was like, oh, thanks, Dad.
I wish your dad told me that.
He does.
I just don't get the
text. You blocked his number.
I know. Yeah. But he kept sending me the videos of you pouring milk in your pants.
He has the video.
It's him. He's like sending me videos of him doing it. Where do you think he learned it? He says that in the video. Stop saying that. These are all. You sent me 14 individual videos. You must have made them every time.
And the end of it is like slow mo. He doesn't know how to do like a normal video on the iPhone. It's always like the slow mo watching.
Some of that was cum. Oh, I'm sorry. That's your
Caleb's dad. Stop.
Stop it.
I hate when you send me that. You have him on a hard drive, you freak. Yeah, so he called me. He's like, do you want to speak of the devil? What if he's like,
stop talking about me.
I don't pour milk down my pants. That's really funny.
Damn, speak of the daddy devil.
That's him. So yeah, then he called me. He's like, oh, there's someone in the warehouse, and do you want a job? I was like, yeah, I guess I'll go. And I actually already had application and interview with that company.
Yeah.
Because I thought about going to them and like leaving Ferguson. But then I didn't go with it. So the owner already knew me. And he was like, yeah, start Monday. I was like, cool.
Nice.
So that's my current job. And I'm now a warehouse manager.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. You're a manager now.
Yeah. I've been warehouse manager. Because the last warehouse manager died.
You told me that.
Yeah.
That's the best way. It's like kings and queens back in the day. Like you have to wait for your dad to die so you can take his job.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yes, finally, the poison took hold.
Aww, the
all right,
poison.
all right. So you're walking around in a dead man's job, and that's where you are now.
Yep.
I want to tell you about my legendary run of New York jobs.
I'm so
So
excited.
after the radio job, I moved up to New York, and I was like, I'm gonna pursue radio and stand-up comedy. I'm gonna be the next Jerry Seinfeld. And I had all these dreams. That's how I used to talk, by the way.
You talked like Stuart Little.
Yeah,
there it is.
we got it.
brought-
The store little,
Yeah.
store little reference. Everyone take a shot right now. Take 3 shots of milk in your pants.
That's really funny.
So stupid. So I moved to New York after the radio job here, and I was like, I'm going to be a big boy in the city. So I moved to New York March 7th of 2020. That was about 5 days before COVID lockdown ruined my life. So I'm living in New York alone in a 250-year-old haunted farmhouse, my uncle's house that he left to go to North Carolina. He went to Florida, and I was stuck in New York alone while he was getting ready to, like, we were going to renovate this house, sell it, and then I was going to move into the city. I was living on Long Island.
Right.
And so I was living on Long Island. I needed to get a job, so I got a job at this startup that was basically like, it was a medication delivery company startup. And that was the worst job I've ever had. I was the marketing director for a startup tech company.
Right.
And I didn't know what I was doing, but they hired me because I had the least experience, so they could pay me the least out of everyone who applied. So I literally was like setting up a Facebook page. Like that was all I did. I just ran social media, and like I would do Google ads and like do little stupid things. And then eventually it just degraded and degraded as COVID got worse and worse and worse. By the end of the job, I was a COVID tester, but my title was marketing director. But the only way we could...
Yeah, marketing director here. Open
This
your
is
nostril.
marketing.
This is
You ever seen our Facebook page? But yeah, and I had to leave because I was like, I can't. I'm a marketing director. I live with 2 older people. It's COVID. I'm not going to be testing people. I also am not doing COVID testing. Like those people got paid more than I got paid. So it's like you got to pay me the COVID tester pay.
Right.
And so it was just a miserable thing. I'd love to be able to talk about that more in the future, but it's just too much to get into. I got yelled at, and then I quit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they were making me do the COVID testing, and they were like, come up here in the front, and it was like maybe like a week into me doing that, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I went back to my desk, and the guy like came to my office, and he was like, I told you to wait up front.
Whoa.
And I was like, well, I don't do COVID testing, and that's not my job title, and if you want to do that, we can renegotiate my job.
Whoa.
And he said, don't talk back.
Fuck that.
And then we were walking, and he just kept doing this. And when he was walking, and he would just look back at me and be like,
I hate that so much.
he was a dick, dude. That job was crazy, but that guy was the worst person I ever met.
Yeah.
He was like ex-military, fucking like Pakistani guy, like ex-U.S. military guy from a different country, like
Traitor to his
traded
original
own
country.
No, I mean he just had all these like weird. I mean, there's people from other countries who have normal values. He just had weird values and would always relate them back to his country. I'd be like, I don't think you can speak on behalf of all your people. You're like a freak. He was like, you better be voting for Donald Trump this year.
Well, you can't say that in a workplace.
No, I'm your employee. Don't tell me what to do.
Oh
He's
my
like, if you
God.
want to have a future in any business, you better vote for Donald Trump again.
Yeah, it's
So he
funny
was a
how those
freak.
people are like, if you want to breathe air, if you want to stay on Earth, you got to vote for Donald Trump. It's like, I don't think Kamala's going to send us to the moon. I don't think that's going to happen.
I wish you would. I want to go to the moon.
That'd be cool.
All right, so that job was horrible. I moved into the city. I worked at a place called Citarella. It's a fish market grocery store. During the height of COVID pandemic in New York City, I worked at a grocery store. It's one of the oldest buildings that says groceries in New York City. No elevator. I used to have to bring like 50 pounds of groceries all day from the basement to the 3rd floor on stairs. That's
my
all I
God.
did for like 6 months. I would bring groceries up and down. I came home smelling like fish every day. But if you remember earlier, I was a big fat fatty, and I left that job the best shape of my life.
There you go.
I was like stronger. I had muscle definition. I was in good shape, but
Just from carrying groceries.
Just want to kill myself. Just want to kill myself the whole time.
The whole time.
So that was horrible. So that job I quit. I just like went into work one day, clocked in, and then just like left because I couldn't do it anymore. I have a
That's the
stand-up bit
job.
about it.
Yeah.
So that sucked. And then I got a job. I just quit that job and didn't do anything for about 2 weeks. And then I got a job at a brand new bar that was like 3 blocks away from my apartment. And that job was pretty sick in the beginning. I worked there for a year. The first 6 months, I made the most money I ever made in my life. The next 6 months of it, I made less money than I ever made in my life.
What?
It just fell off in the winter. Like just people stopped coming to the bar. And it was just miserable because I did everything now. I was an assistant manager eventually.
Was that the bar that I would go to with this free skee ball?
Yeah.
That place was cool.
It was a cool place, but no one came in, and I did too much work that no one else had to do, and that was before I was an assistant manager, and then they made me an assistant manager and didn't pay me the difference, and I was like, why would I do that? Why would I just do more work?
Dude, that seems to be a through line with all these jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how labor has been for me.
Yeah.
People just,
and for a lot of people.
I think a lot of people get taken advantage of. I think people assume they can take advantage of me, and then I just freak out. I just ruin everything, like you did. Like when you put the signs up, like I just freak out. I just put stuff in a group chat. I'm like, why would I do that? I'm not an idiot. Like, I just say stuff like you're not supposed to say, and like I don't know. So like I hated that job towards the end. I love the people I worked with. Mara is a great friend of mine. That's like my big friend that I met.
Shout out to Mara.
She's great. She's doing great. But then I left that job and I got a job at this place called Ruby Rosa. It's like a premier Italian restaurant in the downtown of Manhattan. I got a job as a bartender. I do not know how to make drinks. I told them that the whole time. They were like, "Can you be a bartender?" I'm like, "I'm a bartender now, but
They're
it's
like,
just
you're fine, honey. It's easy.
Welcome to Italy."
This goes in here. Yeah, but I don't know, like, I don't know how to make in Manhattan.
You're just pointing at all
You're
the
in
liquor.
Manhattan.
Doesn't mean I know how to make a Manhattan.
How do you make a Cosmo? Yeah, Cosmo Wanda. You're just saying word association. So I worked there, and like the bartenders that were training me kept being like, "You're not really a bartender, are you?" And I was like, "I have never said I was a bartender." Like I said I've worked at a beer bar. I've been an assistant manager. I know a lot about beer, and I can do wine. I don't know how to make cocktails. And they just were like, 2 weeks in, I had already quit the bar job, and I was working at this job as a bartender. And they're like, "Man, like Harry Styles comes here. You can't be making like horrible drinks for Harry Styles."
Oh shit.
And they were like, "We don't need you anymore."
Oh man.
So then I was on unemployment, which was nice. And through a lot of these jobs for like a year, the last half of the bar job and into this Italian restaurant job, I worked at a radio station as well. I did the same thing I did down here in events, but I did it for New York, which was better because it was the number one market in the country. So there was a lot of cool events.
At this point, is Kendra up there?
Kendra came up, just around the time where I had the job at the Italian restaurant. Kendra moved up. And so I was working at a radio station up there. I worked there for about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. That was cool. Then I got a job at a place called Butcher's Daughter. It's a brunch spot, and it's all vegetarian. It's a vegetarian brunch spot, very popular in New York. I was a barista and a bartender. I was actually a bartender, and they actually trained me how to actually make cocktails. So it was great. I liked it. It was easy work. I closed like 4 nights a week, and it was fine. And they just hated me. I did a great job, and they couldn't fire me. But the people, on a people level, they just did not like me. The managers didn't like me. I just didn't vibe with them.
They're like, he's too smart.
No.
We can't take advantage of this one.
They just like, she would like put out the schedule like the day before that schedule would be open. I'd be like, "Hey, I told you I have another job, and if you keep doing that, I can't work here." And she'd be like, "Well, I told you I needed it." And she just like, we just would get into bickering matches because she wasn't being a good manager. Right. And so we just didn't get along. But I did the job well, and I quit normally. I did like a 2 weeks notice, and I left. But that was fine. And then I worked at this place called Mile End Deli.
I might need to answer this.
You want to go on a break?
Yeah, let's go on a break.
All right, let's take a little break. Everyone, we're going to take a little break.